In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about the GIS remote sensing topic, which is the lecture 5. It's GIS applications in agriculture, forestry, fishery, and wildlife. But today, we have to discuss GIS applications in agriculture and forestry. Now, in the upcoming next lecture, we will discuss about the GIS applications along with remote sensing in fishery and wildlife. So let's start with the GIS applications in only agriculture and forestry here. However, we know that GIS, you now have idea about the GIS data accumulation layer analysis and little about its acquisition and further application in any kind of environment aspect. But today and in this course aspect and this perspective, we only have the GIS application in these four areas, which are the major areas related to the environment and climate. Firstly, we have to discuss about the application in agriculture, how the GIS can be possibly and very well be applied in agriculture field. As we better know that agriculture plays a dominant role in any country that if either it's a developed or underdeveloped country, a dominant role in their economy. But producing food in a cost-effective manner is also a goal of every farmer. Obviously, large-scale farming, either a small regional small-scale farming, the farmer needs to be informed about every possible way to get the better yield and also a better farming operations to be managed in every aspect. That's also kind of a precise agriculture, or you can say a better yield agriculture, or in that way if input is equal to output and the efficiency may be possibly good if they know about every possible aspect that can give you a better yield in any kind of agriculture aspect. Even the commodity brokers in international marketing aspect are interested in both quantity and quality. So in that estimates the worldwide, like if we use it regionally or either we use it in any aspect, GIS tools can help to understand the crop health, extent of stress, any kind of that in fungal or that can be a weather situation, and also then the at least and the last potential yield and the soil condition, etc. So we will move forward towards the possible and the main and major agriculture applications of the GIS along with remote sensing imageries. These satellite airborne images that can be used to interpret and analyze in that GIS environment, geographic environment, and it can be used mapping tools to know about any concerned area or area focus study, how to classify the crops, examine their health as I have discussed earlier, and viability and monitor farming practices. So here are some of the major agriculture applications of GIS along with that remote sensing imagery that we can take from the satellites. So these are the following main brief applications that we can possibly apply in environmental climatology aspect. That's the mapping of soil characteristics, mapping of soil management practices, compliance, that means standard farming practices, crop type classification, crop condition assessment, and crop yield estimation. So firstly, mapping of soil characteristics, what kind of soil these are, how possibly these are suitable for certain kind of crops, or what are their health, etc, etc. That can be the crops soil characteristics, what the characters they are has according to that area and according to the different crops, and how the soil can be betterly managed. So that's the soil management, how it can possibly better manage for better yield for any concerned crops. Upcoming next is the compliance monitoring. That's kind of standard farming practices. So in this also there comes the precise agriculture, which is now being applied even in that arid areas as well, like also in the UAE or KSA. So they are also going towards the precise agriculture. They are doing research on that topic. So in that type they give a better yield based practices to standard farming, and in this aspect GIS has a better implications to give you a better and a pre-research or pre-study based information and data. Up now, see crop type classification, what type of crops can better yield in that kind of soil based characteristics of that area. It can also mix with the soil characteristics maybe. So the crop condition assessment, if we have that kind of crop, if we know that in that area this kind of crop is being sown, or that kind of crops has that area, so what can be the conditions after that area and that weather and in that weather time to better yield, give the farmers a better yield. How the crop yield estimation, like in that area, if we are taking, or we are harvesting that kind of crop and we are taking per acre or per square kilometer crop yield, what can be the better way to manage it, and then what's the possibility that how much area is giving us how much crop. So that's also in kind of GIS application for crop yield estimation. That was little and more about the crop, sorry, the GIS application along with remote sensing in agriculture. Upcome next, we will study about the applications of GIS and remote sensing. Forestry. Forestry has an economist once have given the reference that for any country to be a better developed, they supposed to be a 30% forest area in that country and in the part of that region and that land. These are valuable source, obviously valuable source providing food in that kind of foods, etc., etc., like fruits and many other things, shelter for many kind of animals, and obviously every kind of fauna. They are almost a flora. So wildlife habitat, like as I have discussed, fuel obviously in timber, and also many kind of furniture and other infrastructure of the country for any kind of society, and many other needs of the humans. Daily supplies such as medicinal ingredients as well, because they are herbs, shrubs and trees. So also the paper industry has been on relying on that warehouses. They also has the biggest role in the climate and environment aspect to balance the earth carbon dioxide supply and exchange, like heat budget. They play a very big role and very key role in the key heat budget regulation. They in this aspect has a key link between the atmosphere, geosphere and ionosphere. Obviously they are the key role for them biosphere. If you see toward the tropical area which is near the equator, or the equator, near the equator, Tropic of Capricorn and Cancer, Tropic of Cancer, so there is a much forest there, particular have a very immense diversity of species like capable of adapting to and therefore surviving changing environmental conditions than monoculture forests. How we consider monoculture forests? Monoculture forests means like the forests which are not to a in the main region or many vast regions. They are specified to some limited area, so that like the polar areas towards far side forests a little bit Amazon forest above than that, and if they say the forests that are in the tropical areas, so there you will see the main diversity of forests near the tropical areas or near the water areas. So if we go for the forest issues and forest management in GIS application, that is where mainly the issue come with the forest depletion, that maybe the natural cause like fires, and if go for the fest like blackguards or other kind of species attacks, like if we see in Pakistan today in these days or in this season, there come some kind of flies from the same side that and also the human activity like we saw for the clear cutting, burning a timber, etc., for many kind of regular use and other kind of infrastructure element, and also for other kind of activities. And also the main issue coming in the forest management or forest assessment or forest analysis come the monitoring of health, how much the forest is green or how much they are yielding a good plants, and how much they are both are regulated for effective commercial exploitation and then conservation. So these all the issues are related, but the GIS and remote aspect they can be badly applied to solve or assess these all kind of aspect of applications in forestry. So let's move towards the applications. So the information about that or data about that the, general forest cover this for the review country especially like Pakistan, it's very valuable. Like we don't know have a don't have a better web, or we don't have that much better database for the updated forest cover. Like if you go for, we are going for the afforestation or the green tsunami and so on other kind of activities, there are, if there are NGOs or national regulation authorities, if they are doing some kind of work, we don't have about the updated data of either of decades or of so many years. So that kind GIS is a very valuable source or valuable tool, like for journal code type mapping, shoreline maps, watershed mapping, and monitoring for protection, monitoring of cutting practice, innovation, and other kind of that many GIS and environment aspect. So many, like I've discussed, many NGOs are national agencies and national organization. They are doing and applying report sensing along with GIS as part of the information solution in foreign markets, and also in national markets or national kind of regulations and strategies or practices. Firstly, the main I have here briefed it in the three kind of major applications of GIS, along with remote sensing, in the forestry. The first is the reconnaissance and exploration mapping. Objects to be made by national forest and environmental agencies include forest cover updating in that type, depletion monitoring, and measuring biophysical properties of forest stands. The first comes here in the sub topic of the reconnaissance discrimination is the forest cover type discrimination. What type of forests there are concerned in that area, and that can be majorly managed. Up next comes the agroforestry mapping. Agriculture based forestry mapping, how much they are giving heed to the agriculture in aspect of herb shrubs or their trees, either they are herbal, either they are some other kind of application in our or their use in the agriculture. So upcome next is the very clear cut economical aspect of that forest, and that's a commercial forest. In that aspect, GIS importance is to commercial forestry, especially to companies and to resource management agencies, is about the evaluation and assessment. So it includes the collecting our information, how much they are being reforested or cut it, and updating our information for timber supply, as I've discussed, like they are for the furniture and other kind of infrastructure development or other kind of usage. Broad forest types, how much type of forest we have in that area, and how much vegetation or either it is shrubs or herbs in that area, how much density the area has, and biomass environment. As per like we say the gross primary productivity, gross national primary productivity, you have been studied in the ecology. So in this aspect we can brief it in the major application of in commercial forestry. In the clear cut mapping, we can do the mapping of clear cut area or regeneration, how much the area can regenerate these kind of forests, and the burn delineation, how much the area have been done, like Amazon forest we can see, and how much the area has been clear cut or burned, and the other are in that farm that can be regrowth or reforested. And the infrastructure mapping or operations support, how much the area infrastructure can be used or the area can be operationally used for that reforestation in that commercial type of forestry. And forest inventory, the forest better assessment, how much the primary or gross primary or gross national productivity of the biomass or the that kind of forest, especially commercial aspects are there, and also the species, what kind of plant and in that area her, and what can be their types, and what can be the better yield of that forest or forest cover in commercial aspect is there. So that can also be done and through mapping our analysis in GIS and remote sensing. So last but not the least is the greenness assessment and environmental monitoring based applications of GIS. We know the conservation authorities, like we have a wildlife and forestry department. They are basically concerned with the apply the for monitoring and quantity of health diversity of the earth forests. We also, I can here refer you to the website which is about the GWF World Forest, probably World Forest cover in its online updated website. You can go to that. So environmental greenness can the better application in that aspect. If you go for the environmental greenness application of that GIS processing, the firstly comes the deforestation. As I've discussed, if you are going to the green tsunami and many other kind of that national or international organizations are going to that kind of afforestation. So either they are main rainfall forests or mangrove colonies, it can be betterly invented and then assessed and then reforested. How much deforestation has been done, like in rainforest or mangrove or other kind of colonies of that plants. What can be the better species inventory and identification? What kind of plants are there? How much plants are, or what kind of plants and what kind of species of plants are there? Water protection as well, how much riparian strips area is being on that forest. If you go toward the coastal protection or mangrove forest application of GIS, we can readily give the example of Karachi, which is the coastal area. There are some kind of some species of mangrove forest. There are some strips of mangrove forest. If we monitor it with the GIS, then it can be better managed and better conserved. Last but not the least is the forest health. Forest health, if we sum up it all in that forest health, we can also give it a very briefly that forest health in a forest assessment. We can betterly give the forest health based all the conservation forest health is healed, how much they can regrow, and how much is the possibility that forest can give a good cover in that areas or in that year up to come are predicted based. So that was little and more brief about the GIS applications and forestry and agriculture. We will better move to the wildlife and other aspect of GIS and remote sensing applications.